Okay. Hello. Welcome. So welcome to our webinar here at Gulu Gulu Learning Academy and 12 Foundation School. So this webinar is all about learning German with us, right? We are inviting you all to join us to learn German. So I would like to say willkommen, welcome, and wie geht's? How's it going? Sehr gut. Very good. So my name is Miss Mara. I hope you can see my name here. And I am a teacher with Gulu Gulu Learning Academy, okay, and also our 12 Foundation School. Some of you might know me already. I am the Spanish teacher with Gulu Gulu and 12 Foundations, as well as an English teacher and even some phonics. Okay, so we like to wear many hats here. It's one of the best parts about our job. So we are also preparing to offer a new class, right, in our program, which is German, right, Deutsch. So I'm going to tell you guys a bit about what the program is going to offer. I'm also going to tell you guys a bit about myself, right, my own personal experience with it, and why your child should learn German. So we're really excited to offer this for you guys. We're really excited to offer it to the students. We already offer many foreign languages, which the students love, right? We offer Spanish, we offer Mandarin, and we offer Cantonese. So this is just another foreign language that we're able to add to provide the children with more options, and as well as you, the parents. Okay. So now we are going to get started. I think I'll give it just a second. Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So, yes, I'm going to begin our presentation now to let you know a little bit about myself and about what this program is going to be all about. All right. Well, we already have our program, Gulu Gulu Learning Academy and 12 Foundation School, but what this class will add to those programs and how it can enrich the lives of the children and their futures. All right, here we go. So, hallo. All right, we have to begin with hallo, willkommen, guten Tag, or guten Abend, depending on where you're at. All right, so guten Tag is hello, like good day. Guten Abend, good evening. All right, so it should be about 7 p.m. in California time. So guten Abend, good evening. And we're going to learn all about Deutsch, which is the German word for German. All right, a little bit about our itinerary. So first, wie geht es Ihnen? All right, how are you guys? I hope that everyone is sehr gut, very good. Today we will talk about my personal experience with German, right? Why I want to teach it to your children, what your child will learn in German with Gulu Gulu and 12 Foundations, as well as why your child should learn German. Okay, everyone ready? So very quickly, just gonna check our roster. Okay, very good. Here we go. So a bit about myself and my personal experience with German. All right, so I am Miss Mara, and many of you probably didn't know that I could speak German, but ich kann sprechen Deutsch. So a little bit about my past. I studying, right? So academic, formal studying at my university. During my time as an undergrad, I spent several semesters studying German. I do love foreign languages. I concentrated on Spanish, but I liked to dabble around. And when I got to German, it really stuck with me. I felt that it was very similar to English, even though it might seem different. It's not. We come from the same language family. So I really enjoyed it. And then after that, there was a little bit of living abroad. That was great. It was a wonderful experience for me. I spent about a semester living and working abroad in Stuttgart, Germany, or Stuttgart, Deutschland. Right, so Deutschland is Germany in German, during the year of 2019, from January to June, right? So Januar, Juni. And it was a very, very wonderful experience. Just being in Germany, being able to apply everything I've learned, getting to know their country and their culture. It was very awesome. And when I came back, that's when I realized that I love Germany and I love German and I want to continue it. So I'm very, very excited to be able to provide this opportunity for the students. So here's just some photos that I thought would be fun to share, right? So if you look back, I'll go back for just a second so you can see this animation is actually Schloss Neuschwanstein, which is Neuschwanstein Castle. And it is the castle that Disney was inspired by when they created the Disney castle, right? And the Sleeping Beauty castle. And it is a beauty. So here's just a picture of me in front, right? Just as some evidence, right? I was there. But now we're going to keep going. And next, what we're going to talk about is what your child will learn in German, right? With us here at Gulu Gulu and at 12 Foundations. So next, we're going to go through some examples. This is going to be a beginner class, okay? It's going to be an introductory class. And it will be a lot like, I guess you could think of circle time, but in German. We're going to go through all of the basics, right? Such as colors, numbers, the alphabet, common phrases, and vocabulary, right? Vocabulary. And as we build on that vocabulary, eventually we'll get to forming sentences, right? And learning grammar and the rules because they're a bit different. They are a bit different. The word order, right? The syntax. But first, easy peasy, right? Slow and steady. So first we're going to start with basic vocabulary, and it'll be a lot like circle time, right? Days of the week, months of the year. So I'm going to give you guys some examples right now so you can get a better idea of what your child will learn in German with us at Gulu Gulu and 12 Foundations. Let's go take a look. All right, so we'll learn days of the week. Tage der Woche, right? Tage der Woche. So days of the week: Montag, Dienstag, Mittwoch, Donnerstag, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag. We will learn about the months of the year, right? So Monate des Jahres, des Jahre. So we have Januar, Februar, März, April, Mai, Juni, Juli, August, September, October, November, and December. So somewhat similar, right? Somewhat similar. So we do come from the same language family. So it is a bit similar. Pronunciation's a bit different, but we're going to practice that too. All right, so Farben, colors, right? So we have weiß, grau, schwarz, rot, blau, gelb, grün, orange, brown, lila, and rosa. So we'll go over our colors. We'll go over Zahlen, numbers, right? Zahlen 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and more. Mehr. So going off their pace, we'll go as high as they can, right? Eine Milliarde. And then, of course, we'll go over verbs, right? So once they're ready, once we start with the basic vocabulary, like days of the week, colors, numbers, the alphabet, right? And pronouncing the different letters, because they do sound different. We'll get to verbs, right? And then that's when they'll finally be able to learn a bit of grammar, how to use these verbs in a sentence, right? Like to be able to, can, right, is kunnen. But to say I can is ich kann, right? Ich kann. So du kannst. So we will learn how to conjugate verbs. We will learn how to form sentences. And it's going to be awesome, right? To be called, heißen. Ich heiße Mara, right? My name is Mara. I'm called Mara. Du heißt, right? You are called. So we will learn all of that, and it will be a lot of fun. It might seem challenging at first, but once they get the basics down and the pronunciation, it will be a learning journey. Very fun. So again, like I said, we will practice pronunciation because it is a bit different. And I think this is the biggest thing for people who don't speak German is they always say, well, the pronunciation is very harsh and it sounds kind of, it's a throaty language a lot of the times, right? And the sounds of the letters are different. They have special characters with umlauts. So umlauts are these two little dots that you see on top of some of the letters. And they have, where did it go? It was in the past, but it looks like a big squiggly B, but it's actually the double S. So we'll work on all of those things. Oh, here it is. This one. It looks like a big B, right? But it's actually a double S. So it sounds like, and we will work on all those things, right? So we'll practice pronunciation and vocabulary, and that's what this beginner German class will be all about. And here's some examples of some of our curriculum that we're going to be using, right? So aside from just basic vocabulary like days of the week, right, months of the year, numbers, colors, we're also going to use vocabulary in context, right, within the home, right? Mein Haus, right? They will learn vocabulary and words for things around the house, right? Ich lebe in einem Haus. I live in a house. Ich lebe in einer Wohnung, right? I live in an apartment. Wo wohnst du? Where do you live? So that's when we'll start learning those common phrases. We'll learn phrases before we even actually learn how to conjugate verbs, so that way we can get them down. Later on, we'll go back and look at the grammar. So some more examples. Am Morgen, in the morning. All right, waking up, things around the bedroom. In der Schule, so at school. And it's really exciting just to see this even now. I'm so excited to work on it with them. Right? Some words are the same here, right? Der Computer. But the pronunciation is just a bit different. Der Lehrer, right? The teacher. Wie heißt du? What is your name? We'll learn more like im Park, at the park, im Park. Das Spiel, the game, der Sport, sports. We will learn about around town, right? Rund die Stadt, around town. Der Bus, right? The bus, but der Bus. So I think they'll also have a lot of fun with German. It is a funny language, especially coming from English. Das Flugzeug, right? That's an airplane. So these are fun words to play with, and they might feel silly at first, but I think that's what's going to make the class so fun, is playing with these words. Im Geschäft, right? So in the store, im Geschäft. Hallo, wie geht's? Right? Hello, how are you? Wie viel kostet ein Apfel? How much does an apple cost? Bitte, right? So these are very useful words that will be very useful should you ever visit a German-speaking country. We'll talk more about that later because it's not just Germany. Right, bitte, please. Dankeschön, thank you. Bitte sehr, you are very welcome. Wie geht es dir? How are you? Mir geht es gut. Right, but they also have conjunctions. The same way we can say it is or it's. They can say wie geht es dir or wie geht's. And we'll work on all that. All right, so meine Geburtstagsfeier, so my birthday party, months of the year, numbers, right? How to say how old you are, die Familie, family, der Onkel, uncle, die Tante, aunt. And of course, meine Mutter, meine Vater, meine Schwester, meine Bruder, right? My mother, father, sister, brother. Das Abendessen, right? So time for dinner. This is when we're going to go over foods, right? Das Fleisch, meat. Der Reis, rice. Das Essen, right? Just food. In der Nacht, right? So in the night, at night. Gute Nacht, good night. And then of course we're going to go over common phrases, right? Like hallo, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, ja, yes, nein, no, danke, thank you, bitte or bitteschön, right? You're welcome. Mein Name ist or ich heiße. Wie geht es dir? Wie geht's? How are you? And then just more useful words just as a kind of coming full circle so you can see a little bit of a review. We'll go over useful words, months of the year, numbers, seasons, right? Der Winter, der Frühling, der Sommer, der Herbst. So It will be a lot of fun. And now, after showing you a bit of examples of what your child's going to be learning in our class, what our content's going to look like, the structure of our classes, of course, it's not all just going to be vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary. We're going to play games. We're going to read books. Right, so we're going to read books in German. We're going to play German games together. We're going to sing songs together. We're going to listen to songs together. And one thing that I always do with my Spanish classes is at the end, I give them a little sweet treat, right, for all their hard work, because learning a language is hard work. I reward them the last 5 to 10 minutes of class, depending on if the class is 30 minutes or an hour long. And they get to watch some of their favorite things, but in Spanish, right? So with this being a German class, right, they would get to watch one of their favorite things, but in Deutsch, in German. So some examples of material that my students love to watch are Peppa Pig. They love that. Hello Kitty. Pokemon. There's one show from Disney that's called Amphibia. It's a new show, so I'm not super familiar with it, but I'm able to find it and I'm able to access it in Spanish. So most of these shows also have their own German version as well. And it's very cool. So just an idea of what our class will look like. We'll usually start with songs to warm up, depending on the theme of the week, right? Whether it's numbers, colors, months of the year, days of the week. We'll focus a little bit on each one while still covering all of them briefly throughout our circle time. And then we will go through vocabulary, we'll practice, we'll go around, and after we'll follow up with a book, right? An activity. I like to do lots of drawings as well. That also helps us cover our vocabulary. And at the very end, we'll end with a sweet treat. And also we will play games. And the games are always fun. So now I'm going to show you why, right? Why should your child learn German? And this is a fair question, especially if we live in the United States. It's not our official language, right? We speak English, and there are other languages that are a bit more relevant, right? Like Spanish and Chinese, like Mandarin. But German is still a valuable language, and I'd like to tell you why. So we're going to go take a look at that right now. Here we go. Right, so here, right, we have all the world languages, not all of them, but some popular ones. And here you say Guten Tag, right? Good afternoon, good day, Guten Tag. That is our German here, our Deutsch. So why should my child learn German, or any other language for that matter? Because this is important. And I know that many of our students at Gulu Gulu are already bilingual or multilingual, because I have them in my Spanish classes even. At home, they speak English, and some of them speak Cantonese or Mandarin, another language at home, and then they come to my Spanish class. And I've had some parents who are a bit concerned, right? They don't want their children to have language delays. And so I want to show you why that won't be an issue. Shouldn't be. Okay, here we go. So first of all, I'd like to mention that studies have shown that learning a new language in general has several benefits. And the earlier one starts learning, the better. That's the best part, that we work with children, and we're excited to offer this to your children, because the earlier they start, the better off they will be. It's a bit harder as you get older. Not impossible, but harder. There are approximately 230 million speakers of German worldwide, and it is the most spoken language in Europe. The reason for that, right, is because German is the official language of more than one country, right? In Austria and parts of Switzerland, it is their actual official language in certain regions of Switzerland and in Austria. So for that reason, lots of travelers and all throughout Europe, German is actually the most spoken language. Okay. And learning German will provide many opportunities for your child in the future. And learning a new language in general has its own benefits. So we're going to take a look first at the 10 benefits of learning a new language, and then I'll go into a bit more detail about how German can provide opportunities for your child in the future. And learning a new language in general has its own benefits. Okay, here we go. So 10 benefits of learning a new language are that number one, it boosts your brain power. It really does. It makes your brain more powerful. It makes your brain stronger. It's like doing exercises every day. 2, it improves your memory, right? Because as you're studying and remembering all of this new vocabulary, it's strengthening the memory that you had before that as well. 3, it sharpens the mind, right? It kind of makes you quicker. So it sharpens your mind. 4, it enhances decision making. Okay, so when we're faced with decisions, it kind of enhances the logical process that we take to reach that decision. 5, your first language is improved. Right? So your first language is actually improved when you learn a second language, especially if they come from similar families. Right? For example, if your child already speaks English and they're learning German, they do come from the same family. They come from the Germanic family. Now they have branched off over the years, of course, but you did see some similarities as we went over the examples of the material. And 6, it improves academic performance. So across all domains, not just within linguistics, but mathematics, language studies, of course, linguistics, um, music even, right? Because music in itself is kind of a language, right? They have to learn how to read music, sciences, arts, social studies, right? So this improves academic performance all around. 7, it increases networking skills. So what do I mean by that? So I'll tell you more in a bit, but by networking skills, they have the opportunity to make friends with people they wouldn't otherwise be able to make friends with, to meet people they wouldn't otherwise be able to meet, which then leads to number 8, providing better career choices. So of course, this is much farther down the line, right? Because right now they're kids and we want to let them be kids and we want to have fun with the language, which it will be a lot of fun. But it is nice to know that by building on this skill and learning this, it's going to offer them opportunities in the future that they otherwise wouldn't have, right? Like career choices. So 9, it enhances the ability to multitask, right? So because they're juggling more than one language in their brain, that's going to, translate in other areas of their life as well, right? It's going to transfer over. And 10, it keeps the mind young and active, right? Because language learning is a lifelong process. It never ends, even for your first language. I'm sure there are words sometimes we read books and we're like, hey, wait, what's this word mean? And we have to look it up. So it just keeps the mind young and active, and it's overall just really good for us. So now, before we move on, I want to talk about a little more of how learning German will provide many opportunities for your child in the future. Okay, so as I mentioned before, German is the most spoken language in Europe, right? Most people think that Germany is the only country that speaks German, but that's not true. So the facts are that German is the most spoken language in Germany because it is the official language of Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Liechtenstein. Right? In addition, there are many other parts around Europe that speak German as a non-official language, including Romania, Russia, Eastern France, and more. So, for example, when I was living in Germany, I lived at Stuttgart. Stuttgart is on the western border of Germany and it's near France. Right? So, if I were to take a train, I could take a train and be in France in a small town, not Paris itself. Paris was about 4 hours away, but I could be in a small town within an hour or two. And there was one specifically I remember that I visited called Strasbourg in France. And even though it was in France, everyone spoke German. That's just the way it was, I guess, because there's history there where that city repeatedly went back and forth from being in the territory of France to being owned by Germany to being owned by France to being owned by Germany, because Europe has a lot of history. So even though today it is officially in France, you go there and everyone speaks German. They can speak French too, but they prefer to speak German. It's like their unofficial language that they decided to use. And so, yes, I think that that's really interesting. So whether you plan to travel to Europe, live there, or go there for business, German would be on the top of the list of languages for you to prioritize, definitely. I also mentioned English and German come from the same language family, right? Their roots are Germanic. So while they separate out, eventually most people are surprised that German is more similar to English than English is to French or Spanish, actually. So German is more similar to English than French or Spanish is to English. Furthermore, German is the go-to language in academia, right, in school. So some examples of this are like to talk about the innovators in the science community, right? Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud in psychology, Max Planck, the greatest composers like Mozart, Bach. They spoke and they composed their music in German. So if you appreciate these works of art and these innovators, learning German would be step 1. Now, another one here, looking further down the line for your children, is that they have the opportunity for better career choices. They can make more money by learning German. Now, how can they do that? BMW, Benz, Volkswagen. These are just some of the globally recognized brands that are originally from Germany. So, as an economic powerhouse of Europe and around the world, there are more career opportunities opening up in Germany. Perhaps more relevant businesses in the US are craving to hire and promote German speakers because they want to make a bigger footprint in Germany and in the rest of Europe, right? They want to expand. So, as one of the few people that will likely speak German in the office, right? If your child decides to work in an office setting, right, in corporate, it's one of the best skills that you can invest in, right? It really does set you apart. To prove this with real numbers, right? The Economist did a study comparing how much more money one can make depending on what language they learn. And surprisingly enough, German ranked number one with an estimated 125,000 euros in bonus earnings. In US dollars, I don't know, I would round it maybe 130 to 140. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. But US dollars would be more than what it is in euros. So I think that's very interesting, actually. It actually beat out French and it beat out Spanish. So the number one ranked language for making more money was German. So then you get to tap into a new community, right? Whether be it online, because over 6% of the entire internet is comprised of German. So it's better than just sticking with English, even though English is widely spoken. It's what we call a vehicle language, right? So even though it's not everyone's first language, many people know English, and maybe your first language is Mandarin, my first language is Spanish. We both know English, though, as a second or third, so we use it as a vehicle language to communicate. Well, German is making its way up there as well. You get to make more German friends anywhere you go, again, which I talked about increasing networking skills and expanding your career opportunities like never before. Another one is that Berlin, right? So the capital of Germany, Berlin, is one of the hottest cities for entrepreneurs. Sorry, Munich is the capital, but Berlin is a big city. But Berlin is one of the hottest cities for entrepreneurs. It's really a great place for job seekers seeking new opportunities or to start and expand their own businesses. Furthermore, if you learn German, you kind of gain this confidence, right? That goes with learning any other language, but you gain the confidence needed to learn more languages or really anything in general. Okay, so beyond the direct benefits of learning Germany, the indirect benefits can be even more important. There's a feeling of this internal confidence, right? This pride that kind of comes with it once you tackle those tough words, and even some external validation that comes from learning any new language, right? So the next time you decide to learn another language, or maybe even a new skill like learning to play a musical instrument to start a business or handle any difficult task, you'll remember, right? I've done something difficult before and I've succeeded. So these are just some of the ways that can benefit your children when they learn. A few more facts that are fun that I think are important to know are that 1 out of 10 books are written in German. And if you can speak German, right, if you learn how to master it, living in Germany itself is it's being able to live in a country with one of the highest standards of living. Really, it is. That's one thing I realized when I lived there for that short, brief amount of time, for that about 6 months or so I was there. They do have a better quality of life, right? Diversity, affordability, a thriving economy. You have art, creativity, business, technology, and more all available in one place. Don't get me wrong, I love the United States, but you just have to see for yourself. It's a wonderful country. So now we're going to keep going. I hope that if I haven't convinced you yet, maybe I still can. But that kind of sums up why your child should learn German or any other language, right? So if you want them to learn Spanish, you can sign them up for that too. If you want them to learn Cantonese or Mandarin, we offer those as well. Alrighty, so now interested, right? So this is the wrap up. So if I have somewhat convinced you, and even if you're not sure, but maybe you're a bit curious and you'd like to learn more, that's great. That is awesome. What we can do, right? Some next steps are contact us. Right, so get in touch with Miss Karen at Gulu Gulu Learning Academy and 12 Foundations. Right, you can contact her via phone number or on Facebook, right, through our Facebook page. And the next step would be to schedule a trial class. right? So we can schedule a free trial class to see if your child likes learning with us. And if your child enjoys the German class and they like, the whole flow and they have fun with it, they're enjoying it, and it's something they want to continue to do, enroll, right? Enroll in some German classes with us. And this is how we can get started. Right. So thank you so much for listening, right? Dankeschön. Thank you very much. And I hope that this was beneficial for you. I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about what's to come and what we can offer and why, right? That's the big one. Why should my child learn German? So I hope we were able to cover those bases for you. If you have any questions now, feel free. I am opening us up to questions now. I'm going to stay for a minute. If not, right, auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. Bis später, I hope. See you later. Bis später. Yes, that's better. All right. Okay, folks. So I am going to head out. So, once again, I hope that this was informative, and I hope that you guys were able to learn a little bit about why your child should learn German with us. I don't see any questions, so I am going to end the broadcast. But if you still have questions later that you didn't think of now, please contact us, reach out to us, okay? We would love to hear from you. So, you definitely contact Ms. Karen at Gulu Gulu Learning Academy and 12 Foundations. Alright. Dankeschön und auf Wiedersehen. Bis später.